So when we read through the scenario, what we're looking for are obviously processes, and we're also looking for any external entities and data store to start with. So as we read through, a retail store emails through an order for beads to the sales office at Betty's Beautiful Beads. Now, the retail store is an external entity because it's emailing data into the system. So they're going to be, where are we? An external entity. Dispatch products to the retailer. So he'll send a copy. So because he's sending, now this is the one I have changed. The salesperson. So the salesperson is somebody within Betty's Beads. He is taking data that has already been generated, but he is sending it to the warehouse. So he's sending it outside of the system for the warehouse to do a job. So because he is sending it outside the system, that makes the warehouse an external entity. Now this is the part where I have changed the words from the question you had in class. So this one here, the way it reads, the warehouse is definitely an external entity because they are receiving data from internally to the system. So once they've got it, they do whatever they need to do, which is an external system to this process. And what they do is they send a copy of the product dispatch details back to the sales office. So they're going to send a copy. So they're going to send a copy of the dispatch details back to the sales office, where they are recorded in the retailer's account file. Retailer's accounts file. The stock file is also updated. So there's the stock file as well. So we've got two to reflect the number of items dispatched. At the end of the month, the office manager will retrieve all orders for the month from the retailer's account file and produce an invoice. So this one really is produce invoice is my verb, isn't it? Produce invoice. To be sent to each retailer. Retail account file. Who has made a purchase that month. A copy of the invoice is then placed on the retailer's account file. Again, we've got a pen. You can see I've missed a lot of data flows, but we'll go back through this in a minute. The retailers will then, so this one here, okay, the retailers will then pay Betty's Beautiful Beads on the invoice. The office manager will my English is wrong, will record the payment number in the retailer's account file. Here, retailer's account file, that's my blue. Retailers, I've got a process, I've got an external entity, the retailers, and now you could combine this last bullet point as its own process, or you could call it it could be combined as produce invoice and pay, or it could be a separate one. I think in the example I considered it one, but let's make it a separate one. Pay invoice. Okay, so I've gone through in my first pass of my DFD and I've identified what I can see. This is going to help me with creating it. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my 4 processes. Now, you're better off keeping them going down the middle of the page to keep them nice and neat, because obviously the neater it is, the easier it is for me to mark. And if I can see what's going on easier, it makes me easier to give you the marks. And also, it makes it easier for you to check when you need to go back to check as well. Okay, so again, numbers. So, order beads. 2.0 is dispatch beads. 3.0 is produce invoice. 4.0 is pay invoice. Okay, so I've got them there. Look, I've got my verb for every single one, all labelled with 1.0. Okay, the next thing I know is I've got my external entity. Let's look at this first process. So my external entity is one more time. Retail shop. Now the retail shop emails through an order for beads. Okay, so the information they're putting in is bead order details. The sales office at Betty's Beautiful Beads. The salesperson checks the stock file, so we need to have a stock file, so my data store. He checks it to confirm availability. So he's putting bead order, I'm going to call it quantity details. So he's checking to confirm there's availability. The confirmation that the product is in stock is sent by the return email to the retailer. So basically he needs to get back from the stock file, confirmation of stock details, and then there is an email is sent back to the retailer. Okay, so this is confirmation. Okay, there's my first. Okay, the next bit. The salesperson will place a copy of the confirmed order onto the retailer's account file. So I need another data file, retailer account file. And on that one, he's putting confirmed order details. Okay, next one. The salesperson will then send a copy of the approved order to the warehouse for filling and dispatch the product to the retailer. Okay, so now we have got the warehouse is now an external entity because they are outside of the system and they are receiving data from our system. So they're going to get a copy of approved order. The warehouse will send a copy of the product dispatch details back to the sales office where it's recorded in the retailer's account file. Okay, so we're going back here. We're going to go. So they are sending a product dispatch details back to the sales office where they're recorded in the return. So, and then we need to put in here dispatch details. The stock file is also updated to reflect the number of items dispatched. Now, I'm not going to connect it to my existing stock file because I'll be crossing a line. So let's put in another stock file. Make sure you put the lines on both to show it's duplicated. And so going with that, that's going to be updated with number of items. Okay, now, the one thing that hasn't happened with this one, I'm just looking at this now for logic. So once you order beads, from ordering beads, there needs to be something that triggers going into dispatch. So when you're ordering beads, the salesperson sends the approved copy to the warehouse. That actually needs, we need to have a data flow here, coming down here, which is approved order details. It'll get really messy. Order details. Okay. I hope you can read that one. So we've got that there now. Now, let's read the next part. At the end of the month, the office manager will retrieve all orders for the month from the retailer's account file. Remember, the office manager is still internal to the system. They're still part of Betty's Beautiful Beads, so they are not an external entity. We'll retrieve all orders for the month from the retailer's account file. Okay, so we need to go back to our retailer's account file. We're going to write this one again. It's getting very messy. Make sure you've got enough space to put the line in there to show it's duplicated. He will retrieve all orders for the month from the retailer's account file. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to say monthly order details. And then he will produce an invoice. So produce the invoice as a process to be sent to each retailer. So we need to put my external entity back here. Retail shop. Yet again, duplicate because it's duplicated. And we are going to have invoice details there. A copy of the invoice is then placed on the retailer's account file. So we've got one more process going back here, which is invoice details as well. So let's go. I'm just going to call it invoice details because I'm running out of room. Okay. The last but not least, the retailer will then pay Betty's Beautiful Beads on invoice. So paying isn't that, so the retailer will pay. So he's going to be sending payment details. The office manager will record the payment number in the retailer's account file. So we are going through here and we're going to have paid invoice details. Okay, now with everything, I'm going to step back and I'm going to look. So we've got our processes. I haven't got any black holes. I haven't got any miracles. I'm going to reread my question. It all makes sense. Remember, there might be some little differences with yours. It's not, as long as it makes sense, it's fine. And that is my completed DFD Level 1.